folks. Welcome along to lesson 183. We'll take our holy moment or our sacred seconds, some quiet time to drop in and prepare for opening our hearts and our minds to this lesson. So gently closing your eyes down, coming right into the here and now, taking some time to be present with your breath. We begin this day in gratitude. We open our hearts and we surrender to love. We ask that love lead the way through the minutes and the hours of this new day. We welcome joy, fun, and abundant prosperity. We recognize that all encounters are wholesome and that all experiences can be met with a peaceful heart that is anchored in the truth that we are one, that we are love, and that we are free. And so we release these words and we let it be. Okay, lesson 183. I call upon love's name and on my own, or I call upon God's name and on my own. So I love this lesson as well. Here we go. God's or love's identity is holy, but no holier than yours. Okay, so take that in. You know, God is, or love is, or source is, or universal love is, whatever word you want, is no holier than you. To call upon God's name is only to call upon your own. So you're calling on what some people would call the higher self. I don't even know that that's necessarily the best term, but you're calling on the divine within you. You're calling on the love within you. So a parent gives its child its identity and thus identifies the child with itself. Its siblings share its identity and thus are united in a bond to which they turn for their identity. Your Creator's identity reminds you who you are, even within a world that does not know, even though you have not remembered it. So for me, I sort of think that all our surnames are Christ. So, you know, I'm Mia Christ, and you could be Mary Christ or Joe Christ or whatever your first name happens to be, but that your second name is Christ, which means the anointed one. So we are the anointed children of love. That's my take on it. God's name cannot be heard without response, nor said without an echo in the mind that calls you to remember. Say love's name and you invite the angels to surround the ground on which you stand and sing to you as they spread out their wings to keep you safe and shelter you from every worldly thought that would intrude upon your holiness. Repeat God's name and all the world responds by laying down illusions. Every dream the world holds dear has suddenly gone by, and where it seemed to stand, you find a star, a miracle of grace. The sick arise and healed of their sickly thoughts. The blind can see and the deaf can hear. The sorrowful cast off their mourning, and the tears of pain are dried as happy laughter comes to bless the world. Repeat the name of love, and little names have lost their meaning. So when we repeat the name of love, all small things, petty things, lose their meaning. All the other names which we have given ourselves, all the judgments on ourselves, they all lose their meaning. Every temptation becomes a nameless and unwanted thing before love's identity. Repeat love's name and see how easily you will forget the names of all the gods you valued. So all the other things you gave your time and attention to are the things you value. They have lost the name of God you gave them, so they're no longer valuable. They become anonymous and valueless to them, although before you let the name of God replace their little names, you stood before them worshipfully, naming them as gods. And I always think this is a really big lesson, and it took me a good while to go, to really get it. That if I was giving something all my time and attention, like just say worry, if I was just spending all my time worrying, then worry is my God. Worry is where I devote myself. If I'm constantly thinking about money, then money is my God, because that's what I'm bowing down to. That's what I'm putting all my time and efforting into. That's what the things we obsess about, like they become our gods. So, when you really get this, you start to think, oh, I don't give my time and attention to love. I don't give my time and attention to being devoted to love. So, one to think about. So repeat the name of God and call upon yourself with a capital S, whose identity is God's. You are one with God. And for me, I say my surname is Christ. Repeat God's name and all the tiny nameless things on earth slip into right perspective. So we start to see clearly and we put things into what you could call the correct order of things. Those who call upon God, the name of God, cannot mistake the nameless for the name, nor sin for grace, nor bodies for the holy child of God. So we recognize that we are not the body, that we are the spirit, and that we are free. So we recognize that it's not this that is the holy child of God, it is our spirit that is the holy child of God. And I always say when we talk about the body, it's not about disregarding it. It is, your holy temple, which your spirit dwells in, but it's not to become obsessed with it. And if you join another as you sit with them in silence and repeat God's name along with them within your quiet mind, you have established there an altar which reaches to God and to God's child. So that's what we're doing here. We're coming together in the name of love. And sometimes, when we come together in any sort of community groups with that commonality of love, we can literally feel the energy of it. We can feel that we are changing things and making a difference. And of course, Jesus famously said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there. So we're invited to practice this today. Repeat God's name slowly again and still again. Become oblivious to every name, every name except God's, and hear nothing else. Let all your thoughts become anchored on this. No other word we use except at the beginning when we say today's idea but once. And then God's name becomes our only thought, our only word, the only thing that occupies our minds, the only wish we have, and the only sound with any meaning, the only identity of everything that we desire to see, of everything that we would call our own. Thus do we give an invitation which can never be refused, and God or love will come and answer it. Do not think God hears the little prayers of those who call on God with names of idols cherished by the world. They cannot reach God thus. Love cannot hear requests that love be not love's self, of the self, with a capital S, or that God's child receive another identity than love's or than God's. Repeat God's name and you acknowledge God as sole creator of reality. And you can also acknowledge that love's child is part of love, creating in love's name. Sit silently and let love's identity become the all-encompassing idea that holds your mind completely. Let all thoughts be still except this one. And to all other thoughts respond with this, and see God's name or love's name replace the 1,000 little names you gave your thoughts, not realizing that there is one name for all there is and all that there will be. Today you can achieve in which you will experience the gift of grace. Today you can achieve a state in which you will experience the gift of grace. You can escape all bondage of the world and give all the world the same release you found. You can remember what the world forgot and offer it your own remembering. You can accept today the part you play in the world's salvation and your own as well, and both can be accomplished perfectly. Turn to the identity of love for your release, and it is given you. No prayer except this is necessary, for it holds them all within it. Words are insignificant, and all requests unneeded when love's child calls on its Creator's name. Its Creator's thoughts become its own. It makes its claim to all its Creator gave and is willing and is giving still and will forever give. It calls on God to let all things it thought it made be nameless now. And in their place, the holy identity of love becomes its judgment of their worthlessness. So I have this image of all the unimportant things that I give my time and attention to, simply just taking a step back and fading, like literally fading into oblivion, and love coming to the forefront. That's sort of the sense I get with this. All little things are silent. Little sounds are soundless now. The little things of earth have disappeared. The universe consists of nothing except the child of God who calls upon its Creator, and its Creator's voice gives answer in its Creator's holy identity. In this eternal, still relationship in which communication far transcends all words and yet exceeds in depth and height whatever words could possibly convey, is peace eternal. In our Creator's name, we would experience this peace today, and in love's name, it will be given us. Okay, so we're going to enter into this place of stillness and quietness, this relationship with the love that we are. We're just going to take a little bit of time in meditation, being present. You don't have to use any name unless there is a name that feels good and right for you to repeat quietly as you enter into this place of stillness. For me, as I've expressed before, I love to say I am loving awareness, or even just loving awareness. And sometimes I say nothing at all. So it's entirely up to you what you would like to do as you enter into this quiet time where we're putting love first and calling on the name of love and putting love first. Okay, so I will mind the time, and I invite you now to soften your gaze, to relax your jaw and your brow, and to consciously drop in, falling still, and calling on love to be present now. And you're ready, gently coming out of your practice. You know, as I was in that quiet space, it just came to me that we can, just keep it so simple by just repeating even the I am, I am, I am, really recognizing that your spirit is here. It is completely here. And it's like the I am acknowledges it. And at the same time, really by acknowledging it, it calls it in as well. So enjoy your practicing, enjoy, really moving into that place and embracing the fact that you are one with love. I'm, sure that this is becoming clearer and clearer to you as you move through the course, that you are love itself. Have a good day.